Hey Most Amazing Top 10 family, I'm your host Che Arena, and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. Space, the final frontier. It's the most mysterious adventure ahead of us, and if we don't wipe ourselves out with nuclear warfare or climate change, then hopefully we'll be able to make it to the day where we can reach out to the far stretches of the black void and learn everything there is to know about the universe. Either that or we'll go to war in space. We'll have these cool glowy sticks that make noise and go psh, psh, psh. That's fun too. Even with the small amount of space we have explored, there's already a bunch of legends about what's going on up there, and that's why I'm bringing you today's list of top 10 scary space urban legends. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Also, I would love it if you could stick around for the whole list because there are some on here that are so good and they're going to make you uncomfortable about what's going on in space. They're going to make you wonder and be a conspiracy theorist and all those kind of things. And if you guys want more Most Amazing Top 10 content, come check us out on Instagram. And if you need some merch, there's a link below. Click it, you'll go to our store, you can get some Most Amazing Top 10 shirts and t-shirts, use the offer code MA10 and get $5 off. That means you can grab a shirt for 10 bucks. And without taking any longer, let's get into this list. Coming in at the number 10 spot, we have white holes. Honestly, I had no idea what these things were before I was doing the research for this video. If I'm going to break it down for you in layman terms, white holes are basically the opposite of a black hole. Instead of sucking everything in, they fire things out. There's a lot of mathematical evidence that supports the evidence of white holes, but we still haven't found one. There are a few speculations as to why we've not discovered one. Some people think that we just don't have the technology to discover them. Perhaps they are the opposite of black holes in more ways than one. They could be extremely small, so small that we need new tech to pick up something that is that tiny. Other people think that maybe we have found them, but they give off radiation similar to other things in the universe, so it's hard to tell them apart from the rest of the things we've discovered. They could be right in front of our faces and we don't even know it. And other people say they don't exist at all. Even if the science is there, we still haven't found one, and we found thousands of black holes, so maybe white holes are just an urban legend. At number 9, we have the Mars colony is up and running. This is a conspiracy theory that people love to throw around. It's basically that people have been secretly sent to Mars for years. There's a huge community that think Mars is up and running. They say that there's a Walmart up there and a Starbucks that already owns 25% of the real estate. Well, obviously this is taking it a bit far, but most of this is fueled from the Mars rover idea. The idea is if we could safely land the rover on the planet's surface, then why not humans? The logic is loose on this. I don't think it's just about getting people there, but they need to be in one piece, and then they need to be able to survive afterwards. Well, if we dive even deeper into some of these conspiracy theories, they say that NASA is hiding a massive teleporter that they use to travel back and forth from Mars. This thing has been described as sort of a Stargate, and this is how we've been able to settle planets without anyone noticing. Teleporting is a lot faster and less suspicious than firing a bunch of spaceships into space. At number 8, we have why does Titan have an atmosphere? If you like sci-fi movies or video games, then you've probably heard about the moon Titan a lot. It's orbiting around Saturn, and out of all the moons that sail through our solar system, this one has got all of our attentions. And why is that? Well, it's because it has an atmosphere, which is extremely rare for a moon. Not only does it have an atmosphere, but it's mostly composed of nitrogen. Well, why does that matter? Trust me, I was asking the same question while I was writing this list. Sometimes I feel like these videos make me seem like I know what I'm talking about, but I have no idea. I'm slowly getting smarter from making them, but before I shoot them, I know nothing. I barely know how to tie my shoes. That's why I like the ones with zippers. They're like classy Velcro. But back to my point. This is important because our atmosphere here on Earth is mostly made up of nitrogen as well, so we could possibly live on Titan. I wouldn't recommend it as it would be so cold. Maybe down the line when they figure out the heating situation, I'll take a trip up there. Now, why is the atmosphere there? Nobody knows. Some people speculate the gas escaped from frozen ice. Some other people who have more far out there ideas think that aliens used to have a base on Titan to observe Earth. They built the atmosphere on the moon to make the place more livable. At number 7, we have human beings have alien DNA. Where do we all come from? This is one of the greatest scientific questions that we have running. Of course, many of us subscribe to the theory of evolution, that we evolved for millions of years from primates. But you didn't click on this video for facts and science, you want urban legends. Well, some people believe that the genetic event that springboarded humans into being intelligent enough to take over the world was aliens. Some people think that aliens came down, saw the vast amount of natural resources that were on our planet, and wanted to harvest them. But harvesting them was hard hard work. But what wasn't as much hard work was doing some genetic splicing. They took DNA from primates that were living on the earth and then some of their own DNA and used that to make a new race of humanoids, which is us. They then used us as slaves to harvest these resources, and when they had what they wanted, they bounced, leaving us on the planet to kill and consume everything in sight. Thanks a lot, aliens. But why would aliens come to our specific planet for resources? Well, this rolls right into our number 6 point, which is aliens wanted our gold. Because if you're from space and you're super intelligent, that doesn't mean you don't like to walk around like a gaudy diva. Before I get into this one, I just gotta say this goes off the deep end and goes in some of the weirder urban legends about space, but I love this kind of stuff. The same people who support the idea that we have alien DNA in us and that we were alien slaves that used us to harvest gold think that aliens came here to harvest the gold to fix their own atmosphere. On the aliens' home planet, they had a similar but much worse situation of climate change. They fixed this by spraying some sort of gold dust into the atmosphere. This one is so crazy, but I love it so much. Also, if we fix global warming with gold on our planet, this means that this stuff could kind of be true, but I'm not getting my hopes up. At number 5, we have the moon landing is fake. Okay, we're gonna go over some of the points of this one quickly because it's pretty basic for when it comes to urban legends. Either you think it happened or you don't. I don't really care what side you're on. First off, people think the moon landing is fake because there's moments in the footage of the moon landing where the American flag moves, and since there's no air up there, it shouldn't move at all. Also because the shuttle that the astronauts landed in didn't leave a crater on the moon. And finally, it would benefit the Americans to fake the moon landing, so they did this so they could say they went there first. I know there's more, but there's so many to go over, I couldn't include them all in this list without getting some of the other ones that I thought were a little bit more original. I feel like a lot of people like this one, so I wanted to put it on, but let's focus on the other ones that are a little bit more crazy. At number 4, we have the NASA quarantine zone. What happens if you meet an alien? You probably get really scared and then tell people and no one believes you, and then that's it, right? Well, maybe not. The internet has told me that NASA has a special quarantine zone where they will take people who have come in contact with aliens. Depending on what kind of contact you had, you could be locked up there forever. They will study you and then maybe even dissect you. Very creepy. Some of the articles I read suggest that many of the missing people in America were actually abducted by aliens, then brought back to Earth, then abducted by NASA, and now are locked away forever in some facility. That would be a tough week. The human body can only take so much probing. At number 3, we have SpaceX is fake. Now, I love Elon Musk. I think he's strange and funny, and honestly, I believe he's trying to make the world a better place. But of course, if you get into any position of power or wealth, people will question whether or not you are who you say you are. There are tons of people all over 4chan and Reddit who seem to think that SpaceX and Elon Musk are a hoax. They think that him shooting his Tesla into space was a fake stunt to increase car sales, and that his facilities are filled with actors. Some people say that he's never worked for Tesla, that he's an actor himself, and that he was made up to change the image of the company and make the cars more popular. And now the American government is doing the same thing with space travel. They're using the image of Elon Musk as a mascot to make space travel cool so they can start to dump money into it without upsetting the public. But don't worry, Elon, I believe in you. At 2, we have a solar flare will kill us all one day. I've heard about this urban legend ever since I was a little kid, that one day there will be a solar flare so big it will reach to us and wipe us all out, blasting us with nuclear energy, frying the atmosphere, and leaving the world a giant pile of ash. And honestly, it could happen. It's very, 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 very unlikely, but it still could happen. If we did get hit by it, what would be some of the things that would happen? The instant death could be a possibility, but there's also a chance that we would get hit by an electromagnetic wave. This would knock out technology for the entire planet, ushering us into a Mad Max apocalypse. There's also a chance that we would get hit by a massive amount of radiation. This would cause widespread cancer and birth defects, causing a mass extinction. No matter what would happen, there's not really anything you can do about it. So I wouldn't walk around every day worrying about it. Instead, enjoy your life. And for the number 1 spot, we have Bob Lazar. If you've been watching me on Most Amazing Top 10, you know that I'm all about Bob Lazar. He's a G, he's been on the Rogan podcast, and he has a documentary about him. He knows all the little secrets that are going on in the world. Well, not all of them, he just knows some stuff about Area 51. Bob Lazar was a former Area 51 employee, and yes, that's the top secret American military base that everyone said they were gonna storm, but then nobody did, but it was still good for like all the memes and everything. Bob Lazar was stationed at Area 51. He worked on what was called a gravity reactor. It's a propulsion system like no one has ever seen before. Instead of it using regular propulsion that pushes or pulls an object like a plane, the gravity reactor bends gravity around it. He describes it as if you put a bowling ball on a bed and then you push your hand down on the bed and then the bowling ball rolls towards your hand. That's how it works. Basically, you attach this thing to an aircraft, it can bend gravity and move at insane speeds. Bob said in its work it's well documented that these crafts move much faster than the speed of light. This is insane. They function on an element called element 115, which is incredibly rare. Maybe not even real, who knows, it depends if you believe. Since Bob has told his story, he has been harassed by the FBI. And why would they keep bugging him if it's all false? If he's just a crazy person, they would leave him alone, right? So maybe it's true, I don't know. Anyways guys, that has been our list. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Also, go check out our store, there's a link below. You can get some Most Amazing Top 10 merch. Use the offer code MA10 and get $5 off. That means you can grab a shirt for 10 bucks. It's a sweet deal. Until next time, I've been Shade and I'm gonna go to space with Bob Lazar.